we're going to prevent them in the future by continuing to work as a coalition with our Kurdish and Iraqi partners. And I can speak more on behalf of what we're doing up here in the Iraqi Kurdistan region. We are sharing information with our Kurdish partners. We're developing work groups for counter-drone work groups. We're continuing to share lessons learned after every attack. But we have a great relationship with the Kurdish security forces, and we'll continue to do that, and that's our plan, is to work with them to really deter these future attacks. Yes, we have quite a few defensive systems on the base, and of course we're going to continue to work with the Kurdish security departments, like I was saying before, with sharing the intelligence and continue to work with them to deter these threats and to eliminate them, if need be, before they occur. Because we do have the right to self-defense as a coalition. Well, first of all, the fact is they are attacking everywhere throughout Iraq, and not just Erbil. But speaking up here in Erbil, they're definitely trying to put pressure on the Kurdistan regional government. That's right. I mean, there's been quite a few. And the why, like I said, they're trying to put pressure on the Kurdistan regional government. They're trying to break the bonds of the 40-year partnership that the coalition in the U.S. has had with the Kurdish security forces. They know that we're brothers. They know we work together. They know that the Kurdish people, the overwhelming majority of the Kurdistan community, want us here in the Iraqi Kurdistan region. And they're trying to break those bonds, but a few drones and a few rockets are not going to break 40 years of history together. Not going to happen. Right, so the investigations, the government of Iraq and the KRG are the lead for a lot of those investigations. I'll just speak on behalf of working with the Kurdistan regional government. I work very closely with the Kurdistan Regional Security Council. I've been working with them for 11 months now, and great partners, and they represent all the Kurdish security forces up here in the Iraqi Kurdistan region. And I don't want to get ahead of them. They're the lead for it. But again, we have a great partnership. It's very close. The coalition is here at the invitation of the government of Iraq. The government of Iraq has reiterated numerous times that they're going to protect our diplomatic facilities. They're going to protect our bases. So obviously they know that we've got some problems, both in federal Iraq and the Iraqi Kurdistan region. And yes, the coalition is working very closely with the government of Iraq and the Iraqi security forces. It is a distraction for sure. The coalition is comprised of 27 different nations, and then we have a global coalition of like 83 different nations, and we're here to fight Daesh. That's our mandate, so it absolutely is a distraction. The Daesh was an existential threat to Iraq and the Iraqi Kurdistan region, and the coalition came here as guests at the invitation of the government of Iraq to defeat this threat. We haven't completely defeated it, but it's no longer an existential threat. Those decisions reside in Washington, D.C. and elsewhere as far as responding to it. We have the right to self-defense. You saw that a few last week. But yes, it's been about 11 attacks in the last week or so. And again, we have the right to self-defense. But again, we're here to fight Daesh. And like you said before, this is a distraction. And when we're getting better every day, we're learning lessons, we're getting better technology, and yes, we can defend our Erbil air base. Absolutely. Every month we provide $20 million in stipends. And then between now and December, you're going to see about 12 brigades worth of equipment sets, Humvees, radios, other weapons coming in to the Iraqi Kurdistan region. We also provide $500,000 a month in food for the Peshmerga and about $330,000 in fuel every month to the Peshmerga. So absolutely, that support's going to continue. But it's not only the material support. We're providing operational advising to the Ministry of Peshmerga and trying to make them a more professional force. So there's a whole team dedicated to that. And then I work in the Kurdistan Coordination Center, co-located with the Kurdistan Region Security Council. And in there, we coordinate all kinds of different actions and we share intelligence, that's where it all really comes together. Yes, as I said, we're going to continue to give the support to the Peshmerga for at least another year, maybe two. I'm not sure the exact dates, but everything's looking pretty positive with the continuation of support to the Peshmerga with stipends and other equipment. I think the only thing in common between Kurdistan and Afghanistan is that they both have mountains. There's a lot more strategic national interest, not only the United States, but of a lot of European nations that are here in the Iraqi Kurdistan and in Iraq. But I can't speak on behalf of policy decisions regarding our continued presence. The strategic dialogue is ongoing in those technical talks as far as the continuation of staying the coalition presence here in the Iraqi Kurdistan region and the government of Iraq. I don't know where those talks are going to go, but I will say that the Kurds, you have more friends than just the mountains. The Kurds have friends everywhere, and they're a very powerful group. Okay, first of all, I want to thank the KRG political leadership, from the President, the Prime Minister, and the Deputy Prime Minister on down, for the political support behind it, not only in the KRG, but as well as in Baghdad, the Prime Minister Kadhimi, because it took that political energy to really get these joint coordination centers established within the last month and a half. So we established 4 of them, and those are very important to coordinating actions in these disputed areas. And we're also seeing a bit more of a joint operations take place with Iraqis and the Kurds, trying to neutralize these Daesh threats and clear some of these areas and close the gaps along those areas. And they're also working very hard with a planning effort now that will hopefully come to fruition maybe this summer or into the fall, where you have joint force brigades. So you have Iraqis and Peshmerga working together as really one unit in some of these disputed areas. So we're working very hard on the planning for establishing those. So really the joint coordination centers, the joint operations you're seeing now, and then eventually getting these joint force brigades and going into these disputed areas and going after these final remnants of Daesh. Right, again, I'd like to thank the political leadership for the Peshmerga reform efforts. The coalition is really pleased with not only establishing these joint coordination centers, but the movements with Peshmerga reform. So we've seen the first support command under General Sihad Barzani moving underneath the Ministry of Peshmerga, and then you're seeing as well on the PUK side, when the 70s forces, just the recent announcement of the second support command. And both of these commands are the most powerful organizations in the Iraqi Kurdistan region. They bring a lot of capability to the Ministry of Peshmerga. So the second support command is also moving over in the coming months. You know, the KDP in the 80s are working very hard to move all these forces, and you're seeing the same over in Suleimania with the PUK in the 70s. So many thanks to the political leadership for making these decisions. There's a lot of other actions that need to take place with command and control architecture to get it straight. But what we're going to have is a force that's more capable to defeat Daesh and these outlaw militia groups and keep a stable and peaceful area in the Iraqi Kurdistan region. I mean, again, it's a distraction to our mission. We're here to fight Daesh. You know, we're the same coalition pretty much that defeated Saddam and liberated Iraq. We're the coalition that came here when it was an existential threat, Daesh, in 2014, helped defeat them for the most part. Again, there's still a threat out there. So, yeah, no, I don't. Those decisions reside in the policy level for leaving in the future. But again, these outlaw militia groups are just a distraction from what we're here to do. Right. You are seeing some reorganization take place over in Syria, eastern Syria, for sure, over there. Within the Iraqi Kurdistan region and the federal Iraq, Diyala in particular, we're getting a lot of reports from the sector commanders of the reorganization there. There was an attack last week on some civilians. So yeah, you're seeing some reorganization there for sure. And these outlaw militia groups, they're pushing some of these Sunni Arab, people to, fighting back against the outlaw militia groups. and kind of joining groups like Daesh. So the outlaw militia groups are definitely not helping this problem. They're just exacerbating it and making it worse.